The Meld ISPO is finally over, and we have a blog post here that takes you through all of your other options of what to do next. Now that you are no longer needing to delegate to these Meld stake pools, you have other options and other projects to now delegate to.
Yeah, gotta do it like that. You've been listening to the Learn Cardano podcast.
Hey everyone, I'm Peter Buey, and I'm going to take you through all of these different options and different projects that you can now delegate to now that the Meld ISPO is over. There are so many out there at the moment, and they're a really good way of being able to get some of these tokens from these projects, participate in their DeFi protocols, and hopefully we'll see some of these projects go from a very small value of whatever it may be to reaching one of maybe the top 100 coins and tokens and projects on CoinMarketCap. And that's what we're after. That's what we're digging for at the moment. So let's have a look at here. You can get to this blog post at cardanode.com.au, and I'll put a link to it down in the show notes so it's a little bit easier for you to get to, or it should also appear in the top right-hand corner, bing, right there as well. So let's have a look at what's on offer. Now, first off, if you haven't heard of these ISPOs or these initial stake pool offerings, it's a mechanism of raising funds. So you can raise funds by taking all of the fees that you would normally get distributed to a delegate of a stake pool, but instead of giving those fees out to the delegates, you take all those fees in. So as a project owner, you can now collect all these rewards and then use that to pay for developers, pay for servers, or anything else that you need, lawyers, for example, to manage and run your project. Now, there are a lot of positives to it from a delegate's point of view. You can easily delegate to any of these projects, and you retain your initial stake of ADA. So if you're participating in an ISPO and you have 1,000 ADA, you can delegate that 1,000 ADA to a stake pool, and at the end of the process, you still have your 1,000 ADA. So you don't lose any of that initial investment. Unlike a ICO, initial coin offering, where you would exchange your tokens, your ADA, for another token, so you're essentially selling it for something else. You do lose out on your ADA rewards at that point. So it's a different mechanism. You don't need to lose your initial stake, but you do lose your rewards potentially, depending on the type of ISPO. So that's a really big differentiator between a ISPO and an ICO. The other ones here, you can earn your ADA staking rewards still while also earning the token that you're staking for. But this varies from project to project, and we'll see a little bit later as well. Some projects will take all of your ADA rewards, while some don't. They will give you the ADA rewards as well. So it really varies depending on project to project. The other benefit is that there is no lock-in contract period for any of these tokens, any of these ISPOs. So you can always move your ADA out, move it to another stake pool, move it to another project, depending on what is happening in the ecosystem. Now, there is one big negative that has come out of these ISPOs, and that is the strong and high centralization of ADA to particular projects. Now, we saw when Meld was running their ISPO that over 650 million ADA was delegated to their stake pools. That's a huge amount of ADA, almost $1 billion there. And what we saw was a lot of the small stake pool operators suffer because of that. So more and more of these ISPOs, these ISO, will happen in the future, and the smaller stake pool operators will have to bear and evolve to work out what to do when these things happen. So it's you see when these ISPOs, the FOMO kicks in from all the delegates, and they drive all of their delegation to these initial stake pool offering pools and start staking there instead of the small stake pool operators. Now, that is because they are offering something unique. They are offering something that the market demands and wants, whereas the stake pool operators are simply either running a mission for their stake pool or distributing their ADA rewards. For example, our stake pool offers educational content just like what you're watching here, and delegating to our stake pool, ADAOZ, helps fund that. Now, that was a big negative for the Cardano ecosystem, that centralization, but the benefits for a lot outweigh the negatives, and most people are after the rewards and the potential income from these tokens. So that's what they're after, and that's what they want, and that is obviously what the market has decided. Otherwise, people wouldn't be delegating to all these stake pools. So now that the Meld ISPO is over, let's have a look at a couple of projects that are offering ISPOs and alternative mechanisms where you can stake now to these particular pools so you can earn different types of tokens. First one here I have is AADA Finance, or AADA Finance ISPO. Now I've got it right here. They provide a lending protocol built on Cardano. So it's very similar to what Meld is doing. You can over collateralize a loan, lock in your ADA into a smart contract, for example, and then take out a stable coin of some sort. You can also provide liquidity to their pools and earn some of the rewards from that. So essentially the interest that you would put in on a loan. They also offer what's called flash loans. So no one else is offering this at the moment, and flash loans are essentially uncollateralized loans. So you don't have an asset that is tied to your loan. You're essentially taking the loan out and you will have to pay it back somehow. So it's usually a higher interest rate. Now, people use these loans to either leverage their assets and then trade further. They might buy more assets and trade it, so ride it all the way up, sell it, and then take the profits by paying back their loan and then taking whatever's left over. Now, there is a huge risk there because if the loan or if the market has a big downturn, just as cryptocurrency industries do, you will see that some of these crypto loans will be defaulted on and you'll need to pay back your particular loan. Now, if it was collateralized loan, the collateral would get liquidated and pay for the particular loan, but I'm unsure about how the uncollateralized flash loans work and how you pay those ones back. So I'm really interested in diving into a little bit more about this project. But you can get to the ISPO here and you can find the details. It is a limited amount of time that this ISPO is going for. So it started on the 12th of September and is only going for 32 epochs. So at the end of 32 epochs, they'll shut down their pools and you won't be able to delegate for their rewards token anymore. So it's important to make sure you keep a monitor of that if you're delegating to any of these pools. So that's AADA Finance. You can find the links to it in the show notes and in the description down below. Mirqur is a really cool DEX that is building on Cardano. They're taking influences from other parts of the DeFi space, from Balancer, Bancor, and Uniswap version 3. Now, combining all of these and having the equations formally verified means that we're going to have a very, very well-tuned DEX on Cardano. And I did an interview with Chris from Mirqur all about that project. So if you want to find out more, please watch that interview. But you can read their white paper and learn about their staking mechanism as well. Now, with this particular pool, you will be earning your ADA rewards and also earning the Mirqur token as well, which is a governance token, and it will help govern the project in the future. So if you're interested in not so much controlling, but voting in the future of this particular project, especially if you're using it, you would want to decide where the project goes or help decide where the project goes, you'll need the governance token to vote and participate in. So it's something very, very interesting. It's a very cool project, and I highly recommend that you check that out. The next project I have here is FlickTo. Now, FlickTo is a funding mechanism for content creators or video production people or whatever it might be, film, video, media. So it's for content creators to find ways to fund their project and do really cool things. And FlickTo is the mechanism that will do that. A lot of content creatives don't have the means or know-how on how to raise the funding to create a short film or a movie, and FlickTo will provide that mechanism. You can delegate to their stake pools. Their Flick pool at the moment is up and running, and you'll be able to earn the Flick tokens so that you can participate in their ecosystem. The next project I have here is Ray Network. Ray Network it started off as a wallet, and that was the very first thing I saw. but it slowly has grown to a little bit of everything else, from their stake for the stake pool, their wallet, their swap, their DEX, a kickstarting platform or IDO, NFT marketplace, and much, much more. You can see all those links there. It keeps going and going. Now they have released code as well. So this Cardano Web3 JavaScript is part of their wallet code. And you can see a lot of the projects and stuff. They've open sourced a lot of things, everything from their minting process and everything else. So there's a lot of code out there. So these guys are pumping it out and building fast on Cardano, which is really cool. But you can get to their stake pool and delegate to one of their stake pools here to earn the X-Ray token, I should say. So you can earn their X-Ray token and use that in the future to pay for various things on their network. So if you're minting premium NFTs, you will need to use the X-Ray token, etc., etc. There's a whole bunch of different ways that you'll be able to use their token, and I've detailed some of those here on the blog post, and you'll be able to find out a little bit more on their website as well. So please check that out. Their ISPO is it has been going on for a while, and I'm not sure when it's ending, but it's worth looking into. They're definitely building and creating a lot of cool things on the Cardano blockchain. Now, SundaeSwap is a project that is starting very, very soon. They've moved their code over to testnet in Epoch 306. So that's literally the previous epoch that's just happened. So they've moved to testnet and testing and making sure that everything is working. So we might see this one launch any moment now. So we're pretty excited to see this one happen. When they launch their DEX, they will be also doing their ISO. So they call it the initial stake offering, and they're simply distributing their tokens out to as many users as possible. I did a video on how to select a stake pool. You can find it in the top right-hand corner here. Bing, there we go. And you'll be able to choose from one of the stake pool operators that are in the top 30 pools that were voted for within their ISO process. Unfortunately, our pool ADAOZ didn't make it into the top 30. We ranked 36. So we're on the reserved list, and who knows, we might be pulled into the process a little bit later. Fingers crossed, we'll see what happens. But you'll be able to stake on one of those stake pools within the SundaeSwap ISO top 30 pools and receive the Sundae tokens. And like I said, as soon as their network is launched, you'll be able to swap and use their DEX at the same time. So I'm very excited to see this one come to fruition. It's almost happening. It's very, very soon. Now, the next project here is quite an interesting one. This one is called Empowa. Empowa's doing something really different, and it's called RealFi. This is one of the pillars in the Cardano ecosystem, the RealFi aspect of not just DeFi, where it's a decentralized finance, but actually real world solutions that is coming from blockchain technology. So Empowa is creating sustainable housing and affordable housing in Africa. So they're going from country to country within the continent and looking at ways to fund development projects, housing development projects, and then earning the rental income from those housing projects and then distributing it back to their token holders. So as an Empowa token holder, you'd be able to use those tokens, stake their tokens in a smart contract, and earn the rewards from the rental yields from those properties. That is pretty cool. It does scream security token to me. So if you're in a country where you aren't allowed to trade and work with security tokens, this might not be the project for you, because there are a whole bunch of legal ramifications and tax ramifications that come from that as well. So please consult a financial advisor and a tax accountant to work out what is best for you. But in doing so, this is really cool and a really unique way of combining blockchain technology with real world solutions. And I absolutely love this project. I got in early on Empowa. It's a beautifully made website, beautiful design. I got in early and I am staking with their ISPO pools. And I also managed to get one of their NFT tokens, which enables you to actually gain an extra boost in your ISPO staking. So that's really cool. You may be able to buy one of these NFT tokens on the marketplace like cnft.io and boost your staking for your ISPO staking pool. So if you can, that's really good. It means you earn more tokens and you can potentially earn more rewards eventually when houses are built and rental income is coming into fruition. So as you can imagine, building a house, building and working with these countries to actually get this happening will take a bit of time. So it may be a 2 to 3 year timeline before any of this happens. So please keep that in mind. But you can get to their ISPO page, have a look at the various pools that they have and delegate to their pools. In this case, you will be giving up any of your ADA rewards. They'll be taking those ADA rewards to fund and build the projects, and in return, you get the Empowa tokens and hopefully earn a rental yield off them in the future. Now, the next project here, what is the next project on my list? I have Maladex. Maladex is a very interesting DEX that is being built on Cardano. They are probably the most complex DEX that is being built that has an ISPO that's going on at the moment. Their white paper is not for the faint-hearted. It is actually 88 pages long. 88 pages there, lots of references, lots and lots of research done behind this DEX, lots of definitions there. But if you have time, go through it. It's a good read, and it explains a lot of the mechanics, a lot of the mathematics, and everything around what they're trying to build. Now, it's a mix between a centralized exchange and a decentralized exchange. So they're building in some of the features that you find in a centralized exchange onto a DEX, a decentralized exchange. Now, you can find their stake pools here. They have a couple of different options. You have the XMAU, which is the 100% fee that gets taken. So that means they take all of your ADA rewards and in return will distribute out the MAU tokens. But you also have these smaller fee pools where they only take 5% of the fees. So you still get a little bit of reward there, but you also get the MAU tokens in return. But as you can see, it's a lot less compared to these larger pools that have the higher fees. So if you really want the MAU token, you want to be probably delegating to one of these higher percentage fee pools as opposed to this one here. So these smaller ones, you would have a balance between ADA rewards and MAU tokens, whereas this one, it's 100% MAU tokens. So that's definitely a project to look into and see what they're doing, and keep an eye out for that one. Now, probably it's good to have a look at what has happened, what ISPOs have occurred besides Meld. And one here is the FISO from MinSwap. So MinSwap is that they took a really cool approach. So they're a DEX as well. They're building their decentralized exchange with a couple of really cool features. I did an interview with Long from MinSwap. Again, have a look in the top right-hand corner there. Bing. And you'll be able to watch that interview and learn a little bit more about their DEX. They were one of the very first ones to showcase a little bit of code that was running in the background so we could actually see the DEX working on a development environment. So it was really cool to see. Now, they did what's called a fair initial stake offering. So when Meld launched their ISPO, they saw that a lot of the delegation was moving away from the small stake pool operators and moving to the Meld stake pools. And that drained a lot of the circulating ADA into these pools. So what they did instead was they partnered up with small stake pool operators. So stake pools with less than 2 million delegation staked to them at that point in time. And with that small amount of delegation, it meant that they could become a FISO provider, a fair initial stake pool offering provider, and have their pool included within the MinSwap token distribution. So anyone that delegated to one of these FISO pools would earn the MinSwap tokens and also earn their ADA rewards, which is really cool. Now, this has all ended. So their FISO ended about 2 or 3 weeks ago. So if you were delegating to one of the FISO pools, you'll be able to check out the address here of your wallet and have a look at how many how many MinSwap tokens you have earned. So there's Min and Min T tokens, and you can check out exactly how much you've earned. So if you did and you haven't looked yet, check that out. They'll be doing their smart contract very soon. I believe they're releasing their testnet version of the smart contract in Epoch 307, and then a little bit later after that, finalizing to mainnet. That way you'll be able to interact with the smart contract and redeem your FISO rewards. So that's what we're waiting for at the moment. So it's going to be interesting when that happens. I would love to see the tokens start being distributed out and see exactly how many people are holding onto the MinSwap tokens. So that's going to happen very soon. Now, the other project here, Meld, of course, has finished their ISPO, and you'll be able to check out the interview and learn more about the project from this video here. So again, link in the show notes or link in the top right-hand corner there, and you can find out more about the project. But you won't be able to stake anymore, so you need to move your ADA from these stake pools and earn some rewards or anything else anywhere. So that's it. So that's all that's happening in the Cardano ecosystem at the moment. Now, how do you participate in any of these ISPOs? Simply find their pool, go to their website, find their stake pools, make sure you check and verify the ID of the stake pool as well, because there are some fake ones. They're people, scammers, they're creating fake pools with the same name and messing things up for everyone. So make sure you check that you're delegating to the right pool. So delegate to their pool, make sure you know what you're getting yourself into when you do. Now, there are tax implications for a lot of people when they do this, because when you're earning your ADA rewards, at that point in time, you are liable for tax. So in Australia, in the US, when you earn your rewards, at that point in time, you need to pay tax on that amount of rewards that you earn. And when you then swap it for a different token, you are also selling your ADA rewards. So now you've got the tax implication of earning and selling your ADA rewards. So please contact a financial advisor, tax accountant to work out exactly what your obligations are. Now, lastly, you may want to look at diversifying your investment or speculation in all of these projects. You can do so by opening up multiple different wallets, and all of these different wallets can then delegate to the different projects. So I've got about 4 or 5 wallets on the run at the moment, and I'm delegating to all these different ones and earning the tokens from them. Of course, you can also delegate to our stake pool, ADAOZ. You can check it out. All the links are down below in the show notes, so you can find out more about our pool and help fund the creation of this really cool content. So check us out. We love to see you at our stake pool. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that stuff, and you'll hear more from us really soon.
Yeah, gotta do it like that. You've been listening to the Learn Cardano podcast. Gotta get it hype. Crypto is what we like, but this is not investment or financial advice. Gotta do your research, cause it's risky. We know it is. This show is educational and it's informative. Crypto's the future, really, it ain't no debating.